Right, here we go. Always stay hydrated. Skipping the intro for this one, I just want to get straight down to business. Talk about 8th grade. Mentioned it at the end of my skyscraper review that I was very excited to talk about 8th grade. So yeah, let's get to it. So 8th grade is the new film written and directed by Bo Burnham. I haven't seen any of his comedy specials. I know that lots of people like him, but I saw this trailer, the first trailer released for 8th grade, when back when I was in school in April. And the first thought that I had when I watched this trailer was that this could be the most realistic depiction of middle school ever put to film. It looked relatable. I related to the situations that were in the trailer, and now that I've seen the film, I can safely say that A, this is my favourite film of the year so far, and B, it is the most realistic middle school film ever put to film, and the film that I have related the most to. In all the films that I've seen, I haven't connected more to a film. There are coming-of-age films that I've felt more emotion with. Lady Bird, I definitely had more of a gut punch with, but this is just such a realistic, raw, relatable film that reminded me of my middle school days so much. Just the minor details, the fact that the kids in this film, they are complete idiots. Films don't really understand in their depiction of middle schoolers that we're not that smart. I was only in 8th grade 3.5 years ago. I'm going into my senior year now. I was in 8th grade 3.5 years ago. That's when I was right in the middle of it, and I just remember there are things to be enjoyed in 8th grade, but that's not really what this film was about. It's really about coming to terms with who you are. 8th grade, middle school in general can be a very testing period. So let me give you a brief synopsis about the film. It's about a 13-year-old girl called Kayla, played brilliantly by Elsie Fisher. I need to talk more about her, but a bit later. And she is navigating her last week of high school. She doesn't have many friends. She has a YouTube channel in which she offers life advice. And throughout the film, there are different segments from her YouTube channel where she tries to explain how to be yourself, how to put yourself out there, how to gain confidence, how to gain friends. And the whole thing is, she talks about these films. She talks about these things, and she pretends like she understands what she's talking about, but she really doesn't, because she thinks that you can generalize these things, and she has answers for everything. And you can hear in her videos that first off, she's stumbling through every single line, and that's another really realistic thing that I love so much about it. Bo Burnham just sort of lets his actors do whatever they want. People stumble, and they say like and and like over and over again in their sentences. This is what middle school was like. This is how they talked. Even the grown-up actors, they can fumble on their lines, and it still works so well. But anyway, I just went off on a tangent. Yeah, not going to edit this. I just want to say all my thoughts in one go. Didn't even write notes for this. I just thought I could do it in one go. So yeah, let's stick with it. Where was I? Yeah, her videos. She talks about these things, but in real life she has no experience with any of the stuff she's talking about. Making friends, gaining confidence. And one of the best parts of the film was her videos being played, and then something contradicting happening afterwards. And the whole film is about her learning how to do these things that she talks about in her videos. Like gaining confidence, making friends, just discovering who she is, and just becoming a more realised person. In this film, she's struggling to find out her place in the world. And I know that it's a generic thing that lots of films are about, all coming to terms with your identity and who you are. But this film is different. It is very special. Bo Burnham nails it, obviously. I wouldn't be gushing about it if he didn't. His writing is so on point. The way that the middle schoolers talk. This film is R-rated, deservedly. If, of course, you've been to middle school. If you haven't been to middle school, I don't know if I have any people watching this video who haven't been to middle school. You know that middle school should be R-rated. If it's watered down, it's not middle school. When depicted in film, it shouldn't be PG or PG-13. We were R-rated back then, still are, but middle school is an R-rated time, and in order to be displayed in its full glory, it should be rated R. So I need. Where am I going with this? Yeah. So everything, all the situations are made even more realistic because you buy into the fact that it's middle schoolers talking, and it's mostly brand new first time actors being cast into these roles. And there's this one kid who she meets who literally reminds me of someone so vividly from when I was in middle school. And there's a conversation that Kayla has with this kid near the end of the film that just had me just completely nerding out what they were talking about. I don't want to spoil it because if you're a fan of the thing that they were talking about, it's a very, very funny joke and a massive surprise. I was completely surprised by it. But yeah, so this film, I loved it. I loved it so much. I went to see it with a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine from middle school. And she related to it even more than I did, because obviously she's a girl, Kayla's a girl, obviously, so she could relate more to the situations that she's put through in the film. And for me, some of the scenes were so vividly realistic, and they reminded me so clearly of my middle school days that it was just unprecedented. I had never seen anything like this before. So let's talk about Elsie Fisher. She's brilliant. This is one of the best performances, if not the best performance I've seen all year. Her different facets to her character, her facial tics, just the way that she goes, okay, when she's nervous, and she says and like so many times, and it's the dialogue in this film is just brilliant. But she gives such a raw, realistic performance that you don't even think you're not even looking at Elsie Fisher anymore. All you see is Kayla, the character. She just makes this character someone who I could watch forever. I wish this film went on for longer than 90 minutes, and that is not a flaw. And that is one of the biggest praises I could give a film, if I could watch these characters do more in the world that they inhabit. Josh Hamilton plays Kayla's dad in the film. His performance is going to be very much overlooked, I think, because all the plaudits will go to Elsie Fisher and Bo Burnham. He gives as good a performance. Maybe not as good, but he gives, again, a masterful performance. He's just such a dad character. He's like, this could be so many people's dads. It is, I feel like I'm saying it's so realistic way too many times, but it really is. There isn't another word that I can use to describe it apart from brilliant, relatable, realistic. Yeah. Emphasis on all three of those words, because that's what it is. Josh Hamilton is great. All of the actors are great. The first time middle school actors, they were believable. It was so great to see a middle school film in which the characters actually look like middle school kids. This isn't Grease when the high schoolers are played by 30-year-olds. This is 8th grade, and I'm pretty sure that Elsie Fisher is 13 as well. So she's going through this time in her life while she's filming it. And I don't know if her experience parallels Kayla's experience, but that would be interesting. So obviously her age and the fact that she can so greatly relate to her character struggles, I'm sure that brought out even more interesting things in her performance. I'm sure I could think of so many more things. This is such a funny film. This is so funny. Just, not even like jokes, but just some of the dialogue, and you're like, yes, middle school was like that. It was just like that. I was so happy to see that my middle school experience was basically put on the screen. Kids did the stuff that they do in the film. Like, that's not just made up film stuff. It happens in real life. It is such a funny film, and there are so many, contrasting to the funny moments, so many deep emotional moments that really hit you. This covers the entire range of emotions. It is so funny, but it is very sad sometimes, and just the struggles in this film, since they're so relatable, they just hit you even more. So yeah, guys, 8th grade. It's my favorite film of the year so far. Just go and see it. This is my first time doing an unedited review. I'm sure I could go on much longer, but if you haven't guessed already, I'm going to give 8th grade an A+. First one of the year. There we go. I was waiting to see a film that I could give an A+ to. Not all films deserve an A+, but this does. So, Congratulations, Bo Burnham. Congratulations, Elsie Fisher. All the other people involved in 8th grade, you have provided me with something that I could watch over and over again. A relatable, so relatable, realistic middle school film that I connected to a lot. So, guys, those are my thoughts on 8th grade. If you guys have seen it, let me know what you thought. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. And until the next time, goodbye.